welcome to the CEO's Roundtable series, an interview series where we cover C-suite executives from a global manufacturing and automation industry who are driving the industry forward. My name is Anushka Vani. I'm the digital editor for Efficient Manufacturing and Automation and Digitization India. Our publication is a 16-year-old publication based in Pune, which is a counterpart for Publish Industry Verlag. Before we go ahead, I'm honored to welcome Mr. Sagar Bhosale, who is a managing director for Schmersal India. He currently has more than 27 years of industry experience, starting his career with Legrand Group in the sales team. Then he worked for 2 years for industrial sales in Crompton Greaves for their motor division sector. For the past 16 years, he is with Schmersal India, starting off in 2007 as a regional manager. He was responsible for all the activities of the company, right from the formation and the product management. He was also responsible for setting up manufacturing plant, the Schmersal Global Competence Center for Engineering and IT Services, and the export-oriented unit in India. While he worked hard, he's also passionate about reading and traveling. Welcome, sir. So with your permission, I would like to begin with the interview.
Yeah.
So my first question to you is that if you can elaborate on the role that Schmersal India, as a part of Global Schmersal Group, plays in facilitating technological exchange between Germany and India, particularly in the realm of workplace safety and industrial automation.
Okay, so here I think when we have to reply for this, we have to first understand the context of the workplace safety and industrial automation in the Indian market, which is quite different as per compared to the German or the European way of working. So here the perception is that safety is important. No one denies that they don't need safety. But when it comes to actual usage or implementation, there is always a big gap. One is, of course, the awareness, which normally comes as a culture. And secondly is what you can say is the availability of the necessary tools and resources. So if someone really wants to implement safety, does he have the real knowledge? Does he have the real solutions? So Schmersal India, when it started here in India, it had the role to transfer this German expertise of workplace safety into the Indian market, primarily because Schmersal always follows its customers. And many global customers also came to India, but they obviously work with the Indian manpower and the Indian mindset. So Schmersal India had the initial task to translate this technological advancements and knowledge which Germany has into the Indian market. So basically the first thing which we started off to transfer this knowledge was trainings, because that is the basic thing where people need to be aware.
Right.
What is safety. Like people used to come to Schmersal, or even they come to Schmersal with a problem. It is not that we want a specific safety device. They say a machine is not safe. We want to make it safe. So then they have to know first of all how unsafe their machine is. What are the standards which will help them to determine this. So we do a lot of trainings which help the customer to understand at what level he is today. So the first step was the training.
Okay.
The second step, what we did was we started introducing the simple electromechanical solutions which are easy to handle, which are easy to understand, because the Indian workforce, may not be always highly qualified the way you have the international workforce. And these people, when they handle the safety solutions for the first time, it has to be simple, usable, and they should find it more as an aid rather than a nuisance to use this product. So we started with very simple electromechanical products. They got the feel of it. They started realizing that yes, safety is important, it benefits, and it is better to use it rather than not to use it. Once people started using safety and they were comfortable, then we slowly moved to the more technologically advanced products from Germany. And initially it was very difficult to explain them why to use this, because you always need a safety device as well as a controlling device to have an overall safety. So the controlling device, which is a safety relay or a safety or a monitoring device, is equally important. There also, there are three different levels. You have simple safety relays, then you have safety controllers, then the high-end safety PLCs. So we started again with the basic safety relays, and gradually I can say very proudly today that the Indian market has matured enough and people and companies are adopting the highest level of safety products and standards with much ease, because the level of awareness has grown tremendously in the past 10 to 15 years. So this was the technological transfer which happened on the product side. But as you know, we also have a manufacturing here in India. And when you have a manufacturing, you also need local vendors, you require local supply partners. It was also very difficult for us to find these partners because they operate at a different level and the qualification levels or the requirements of a German, or you can say evaluators, are quite different. So we formed a bridge between Germany and India for our vendors, and we started talking to them what is necessary in their plants to make them more compliant to the global levels, how it benefits them, how it benefits the product, how it improves their productivity and efficiency. Initially it was difficult because people just used to see the amount of money which is invested, but over the past years they have understood. It has come to such a level that our vendors in India, whom we are making the tools and equipments, are doing an equally better job as our German counterparts and much faster than them. So this also is becoming a base where we are able to work with the global standards. So this is overall how Schmersal India has started and has been working for the past 16 years.
Right, right. That is actually quite interesting. The way you have put across the journey of, the Indian start of the company. To which I would actually like to, ask you from a reverse perspective, that how has Schmersal India contributed to its German counterparts on the technological advancements in the Indian industrial landscape?
So we have good solutions from Germany, and the next step which comes, if you have heard, is about the smart manufacturing or the Industry 4.0, where you need to take these solutions to the higher level. You need to extract the data from these sensors, take it to a server or a cloud, and then do the analytics on this. This is where the Indian expertise comes into picture. So we have formed in India a Schmersal Global Competency Center. So this competency center has 3 divisions in it. One division is working exclusively with the strength of India, which is the IT, because here we have a very good pool of experienced and knowledgeable SAP professionals.
Right.
The second team works with the embedded engineers, which are working strongly in the development of the products, which are global products. So the Indian team is now working very strongly to contribute in the development of the global products via its engineering capabilities, which is available in India. We have also tied up with a lot of partners in India who are able to give us these type of services, especially in the safety domain, because safety domain requires a very strong knowledge of functional safety to be built. If you build a new product, not only the hardware, but the software also has to be equally upgraded to the safety level. So we have now partners with whom we are working, whom help us this, and this helps us to make good complete solutions for the customers. The third thing which we have developed is exclusive team for IoT, and this is one of the most flagship divisions, what we can say.
Okay.
Because this team is developed for taking up global projects for smart manufacturing or IoT. And the first projects which we are doing with these teams are all the projects in the Indian companies. So the Indian companies now have not only adopted the safety, but they are, I can say, to quite an extent, going ahead with using that data for analytics, using it to increase their productivity, efficiency, and other things. So I can say Schmersal India has contributed by building this team. This is the only team in the Schmersal group outside the headquarters, which is giving them the engineering services for IT, embedded, and the IoT. So this is something quite unique in the group. The other way which India is contributing is, in India there are a lot of standards which needs to be upgraded, because globally there are a lot of standards. Indian companies, we also normally follow the European or the other global norms. But the Bureau of Indian Standards is developing a lot of norms.
Absolutely.
And Schmersal India is a part of a lot of working groups in the Bureau of Indian Standards and representing the Bureau of Indian Standards on the ISO committees. So we are taking this step to contribute more and more towards the development of standards for India, for the Indian market.
Amazing, sir. I mean, it's a really wonderful, sign that you have put across for us. So, which actually brings us to my next point is that Schmersal has a global presence with 7 production sites, including one in India. How does Schmersal India align its operations and strategies with the larger goal of Schmersal Global Group and the technological advancements originating from Germany?
We have 4 factories in Germany, and all the 4 factories are having different centers of competencies. So one is more dedicated to the elevator controllers and the high-end products. The second factory is more into electronics. The third is more into opto. So every center has its own center of excellence. Similarly, the 3 subsidiaries, the 3 manufacturing locations other than Germany, that is Brazil, China, and India. Traditionally, we were developed more to support the local market, which is still the aim. But over the years, we have developed expertise. So now, when it comes to a specific range of products to be developed, or a particular category of products to be developed, it is more or less, you can say, agreed in the group that if there is a development which is related to, for example, the elevator electromechanical products, India could take care of it. If there is something which is to be developed with the position switches or the interlocks, it is more with the China market, or the Chinese plant would do it. So each and every plant has developed its own expertise over the years, and we are trying to build it up. When we talk of the Indian subsidiary as such, we are very strong in contributing to the group for the development of electromechanical products, because as I mentioned, these are the first products which we started.
Right.
And we have built our own R&D team, the research and developmental team. And of course, since we have the local production, we also have a local vendor developmental team. Together with the R&D and the vendor development, we are able to design a lot of products which are made in India for the Indian customers and as per the Indian customers' needs. You typically have this complaint from a lot of Indian customers. The products from Europe, or especially the German products, are sometimes overspecified. They have more features, or they have more high-end features which might or might not always be useful, but sometimes they need to be paid for because it is incorporated. But in India, because of this, our own R&D and other things, we are able to develop products which are more and more suitable for the Indian market. For the global market, also, we have developed special expertise in terms of stainless steel enclosures and hygiene grade products, which we are developing. So each plant has taken up some responsibility of expertise, and I think it's a nice way to collaborate between the different plants of the group.
Right. That was, it's a really good picture that you've told us about how India is putting in, all these initiatives. And so that actually, with that, we can go to our next point. That is, in your opinion, how has the collaboration and technological exchange between German and Indian counterparts enhanced the skill sets and the capabilities of the Indian workforce, contributing to the advancements in the field of safety technology and industrial automation?
See, as I said, we started off with trainings, and what these trainings have actually done is, people who used to consider safety as just, okay, if I put a light curtain, if someone puts the hand, the machine should stop. But this is not complete safety. Safety actually is a complete system. You have an input, you have a logic, and you have an output. It's not just the input. Basically, in this collaboration has helped us to, I say, reinforce, or I think the better word would be repeated hammering of the things, because it is very volatile and we have to keep the trainings more and more regular. And with these trainings, which are different for different people, like when we do a training for the shop floor people, it is more hands-on. People who work on the machines, people who could be as, you can say, a 12th pass graduate who is an ITI person, maybe operating a machine. So he needs to get the feel of the product. So we have trainings which are there for the operators, we have training who are there for designers, and we have training them for the specific high-end machine users. So we have different types of training. The users have now understood this. So when they design, I can give you an example. Earlier, we used to get a lot of inquiries or business, unfortunately, when there was some incidents or when there was some accident. But now we get a lot of inquiries from people, okay, we are going to design a machine or we are going to design a robotic cell. Can you please let us know what we need to consider at the start? I think this is a very big mindset change, that safety is not considered something like a sweet dish which you can have it after your meal, but it is something, a very essential part of the entire safety journey. So people have understood this, and I think this is one of the thing which the Indian people and the Indian industry has embraced. The other thing which I can say is the workforce here, the Indian workforce. On one hand, they are asking for much simpler products, as I mentioned, much suitable for the Indian market, much simpler, much easier to handle. But it is the same set. We also have a same set of customers who would like to go for Industry 4.0, who would like to go for smart manufacturing, who would not only not use the simple data, they would go in for the high-end sensors because they give a higher level of safety, they give you data. This data analytics can help you to make a lot of improvements in productivity.
Absolutely.
So
yes,
we have customers on both the spectrum, and I think the German technology inputs and the Indian R&D and the local thing has reached to such a level that we are able to expand on both sides, on the lower side with simpler products and on the higher side with a better and complete solution systems.
Oh, that is actually interesting. I mean, so really good insight into what the scenario is right now. So I would also like to know if you could highlight some of the success stories or specific projects where Schmersal India has partnered with Indian and German stakeholders to implement safety solutions that have positively impacted the productivity, efficiency, and safety standards in the Indian industries.
Schmersal works very closely with a lot of German agencies like GIZ, who are also entrusted the task of promoting the safety and other things in India. We also work closely with the Bureau of Indian Standards, as I have mentioned, to increase the level of awareness in safety and to formulate a lot of standards which are necessary for the Indian industry. The other thing, when we talk of success stories, we have developed a lot of solutions. For example, in the warehouse applications, warehousing, in the past 4 or 5 years, there is a very big uptick in the logistics segment. So there, because of the German technology, and we were able to introduce a lot of solutions in the warehouse, because the warehouses in India are much more manual as compared to the warehouses which are there in the other parts of the world. So always when the man and machine work, there is a lot of chance of accidents. But we have been able to introduce a lot of unique solutions in the warehouse segment which have not been introduced in the other countries. So now we are replicating those success in that. The elevator segment is something which we have developed a lot of complete solutions, you can say, not only the switches, but including the assemblies and other parts. You also know that Schmersal not only will supply the products, but in the elevator industry, for example, we are one of the founding members of the Elevator and Escalator Component Manufacturer Association, because these components are the basics of any safety, and if these components are made to a good level, the number of accidents would come down. You always read in newspapers, for example, in the lifts, the lift got stuck, two people were caught, someone died, and this is primarily because of the lack of awareness and the knowledge about the safety components. Yes. So I think here also we have made good inroads. We have been able to develop a lot of products for the Indian market, and that is one of the fastest growing markets for us also.
Right, right. It's wonderful how much Schmersal has actually achieved over the years in terms of safety and in the Indian industry. So this actually brings me to my final point. So I wanted to know that looking into the future, what are the key areas of focus and potential collaborations that Schmersal India envisions in enhancing technological exchange and further contributing to the growth of the Indian economy through advanced safety solutions and expertise?
I think the answer for this would be to summarize the points what we have mentioned, but the important thing is the key area where we are focusing is the upgradation of the standards, because I feel it is very necessary that when there is a lot of awareness, there is a lot of push from the government, and when we are looking to make an India a 5 trillion economy, the manufacturing has to contribute close to 24-25% of the GDP. It cannot happen without safe manufacturing, and I think in this count, the major focus would be to bring a uniform level of understanding for the safety market in terms of standards, in terms of collaboration, and getting the knowledge to the people. The other important aspect where we see a good scope for collaboration between the Germany and India is, the Germans normally have very good systems in place. They are very organized. They have many systems in place, and we are trying to adopt those systems and other things, because on one hand you have the good systems from Germany and you have the innovation and the speed from India. I think both these combinations can really work together well in terms of collaboration to deliver the good solutions and complete solutions which India wants. Basically what we are looking at is that the number of accidents should gradually reduce, because with all the technological advancements what have been done, if a person loses his finger, you still don't have technology to replace it. And we always say that people go to work, they give their time, not to give their hands and fingers to the job. So we envision that with the strong collaboration between Germany and India, we are able to make the workplaces here much more safer for the people to work, so that we could have happy families back at home.
Amazing, sir. I mean, the views and inputs that you put forward throughout this interview, it was really insightful and interesting to also hear. So that was Mr. Sagar Bhosale for you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time.
Thank you.